All right, welcome to the United Matters channel. Big game, United versus Fulham. United is obviously gonna be playing in London. That is today on Sunday, and hope you guys are really geared up for this beautiful game of football. Having gone ahead, obviously lose to Liverpool to Arsenal last weekend on Sunday with a very beautiful display put out by Manchester United. Very many fans are really eagerly waiting for this beautiful fixture, as Manchester United is obviously going to be hosting, is going to be playing away in London. You know, London has always not gone ahead to be a very good side for us because we have lost very many games in London and drawn. And I think the only team that we've gone ahead to beat recently in London has been none other than Fulham. And this is where we might be really having an edge over them, and we might collect our first win of the season against them when they are playing in all at the Craven Cottage. Smash the like button close to 100 times, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Craven Cottage is going to be the stadium where this game of football is obviously going to be played at, and this stadium capacitates 25,589 people in there. And the match preview loads in here, and hope you guys are really going to be enjoying this to the fullest, as we are here to present what our thoughts are about this beautiful game of football. Your reactions will be hugely welcomed into the comment section below, and you know how we've always gone ahead to do it here onto the United Matters channel. So, second game of the season in the Premier League for the club of Manchester United, right? And United has gone ahead to have the traveling squad to the side of London has been revealed, and I found it very important to obviously coming through and really show you who has gone and who has not traveled, as United went ahead obviously put in a very big shift to really do this London invasion and see to it that it obviously brings us results as the club of Manchester United. All of us are eagerly waiting to see whether Man United will obviously put out a performance that they put out against Arsenal over the previous weekend, because this is where most of us are really looking at, and we are 100% ready to really analyze this game of football when it's done and dusted, as everyone is eagerly waiting to see this United. Are they obviously gonna be consistent? You know, that is the huge question that everyone is really asking himself. Is United ready to obviously be that consistent team that it has always gone ahead to be? And this is the team that has traveled that is obviously going to be getting us the answer. Onana, Beinda, Hitton, those are the goalkeepers. Defenders, there is Matthias De Ligt, there is Dallo, Fredrickson, Luke Shaw, Lenioro, Heaven, Patrick Dogu, and Harry Maguire. 8 defenders have traveled with the club of Manchester United. Then midfielders, there is Kobe Mainoo, there is Casemiro, there is Mount, there is Ahmad, there is Bruno Fernandes, there is, I think those are the midfielders. And now we are really having Matthias Cunha, Mbeumo, Benjamin Sesko, and Joshua Zirkzee. That is the squad of Manchester United that has gone ahead to travel to London to obviously go ahead and really fight for those points in as we take on the side of Fulham in there at the Craven Cottage. And Rasmus Højlund, once again, not part of the squad. He's not injured, he's fully fit, but the manager is sending a clear message to him that please, you should leave and go to a side known as Napoli or AC Milan that has gone ahead to show interest in you. And that's exactly what the young man has to understand. Now, we've been told that Lisandro Martinez is out with a new injury, Mazraoui out with a hamstring injury, but he really started training with the club of Manchester United recently. Andre Onana is back in goal, so he's back in the squad and is going to be up to really compete with the available players in there for you. And who else have I not obviously hinted of? I think that's what the club of Manchester United is all about. We are having only 2 absentees. only two absentees are the ones that you're really having as the club of Manchester United. And I tell you what, we will be seeing this club obviously going miles into the mix. So from there, we go to the side of Fulham, and we've been told like Fulham's only two fitness concerns lie in the left back defense. Ray Sesegon is really having an injury that is really unspecified, and Anthony Robinson is also having a knee injury, and those are left backs. So I don't know how they're obviously gonna be really reacting to the team of Man United in as far as that position is really concerned, because those players, especially Robinson, have been really very pivotal into the system of Marco Silva, and these two missed off to face Brighton last weekend. You understand? They never really went ahead to play against a team called Brighton. So we don't know whether they've gone ahead to obviously look fit for now, but we'll be knowing later in the coming team news. And for Fulham, the first Premier League game they really went ahead to have and play was against Brighton. The game ended 1-1, and it was Matt O'Reilly from Man City who really went ahead to really score a penalty, and then Rodrigo Muniz in the 90th plus 7th minute saved their season. This is obviously going to be their first game they're really playing at home as a club of Fulham, as the first game they played was away from home, and they took on a team called Brighton in there. So those are the injuries that these all teams are really having, and that takes us to how we think the club of Manchester United will obviously line up in this particular fixture, because we need a win. We are into match day 2, and I can't see ourselves really walk away with just a point. I think we need 3 points from Fulham, because next weekend, you know what is coming. It's not going to be an easy game altogether for the club of Manchester United. If you've been following up United, you know our fixture is really tight. And these are the kind of teams that we should come and obviously beat. You understand? After playing against Fulham, we are going to be playing against Grimsby Town, and we are obviously going to be hosting Burnley at Old Trafford. And I think we'll go to the international break and return around the 14th of September. So all I want to let you know is simple, that Man United, from the international break, it's really going to be a hard fixture. United, there will be Man City versus United, you understand? Then United will host Chelsea. So we should really win these 2 games, because they are points that we have to take. They are points that we shouldn't lose as a club of Manchester United. You understand? So Man United, as we take on a side called Fulham, we should keep it in mind that Fulham and Burnley are the next 2 games that we are supposed to win, because the next 2 are really going to be hard. Man City away and Chelsea at Old Trafford. They aren't going to be coming any more. They aren't going to be coming any more easier if you've been following up everything left, right and center. You understand? So that's exactly what we're really having about Manchester United, and let's get into the probable starting 11 for this club of Manchester United. The system 3-4-2-1, whole 3-4-3, whatever you talk about is what Ruben Amorim really believes in. And we get into the goalkeeping department. As we played against Arsenal, Bayenda went ahead and obviously did a howler, though I'm not one of those who is responsible for a huge blame on what he did, and very many people are like, he's responsible for what he did, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I'm not really into what you guys are really saying. I believe he really put up a very huge show, and his distribution was really great. All you have to admit is that Arsenal are really a good team when it comes to set pieces. Even today, they've gone ahead to pin the defenders and the goalkeeper as they beat Leeds by 5-0 to score 2 goals in set pieces through Julian Timber. Well put in through by Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka. Was it Bukayo Saka? I think Saka had already gone ahead to leave the pitch, maybe. So, I want to let you know that Arsenal are the masters of set pieces. And however much Bayenda did that, they've gone ahead to score very many set pieces, and that's Arsenal for you. So, that cannot be the reason for me to get him out of the goalkeeping department of Manchester United. But we all know to it that as it stands, the first choice goalkeeper for the club of Manchester United is back, and that is Andre Onana. As United chases in for lemons in there for you, or laments, I tell you, Onana should get back his spot. And in the game of Arsenal, the manager told us that he trained and he just went ahead, obviously, get dropped. And if Andre Onana gets dropped again tomorrow or today, it will be a message sent to us by the manager that maybe Onana is out of the plans of the manager, because he's been training with the club of Man United for all that time. And if you are really trying to show us that he's still the first choice goalkeeper for you, the best game for you to obviously initiate him is the game of Fulham. Maybe the manager might be like, we are going to be having a game next week against Grizmbali in the Carabao Cup. Maybe that's the game where I'm supposed to obviously give him a try and see whether he can obviously get in between the stitches. But if you know that you're really going to be having Man City and Chelsea after the international break, the best thing to do is to really get this goalkeeper of yours and really initiate him well into the team. That's exactly what I think the club of United should be doing. But wait and see whether it will be Onana or Bayenda. But one of those will obviously be in the stitches as United takes on the side known as Fulham in there. So, Onana has a lot to do. I think in the new system of Ruben Amorim, it's obviously going to be favoring him as he's a very good sweeper goalkeeper. He's a very good goalkeeper when it comes to ball distribution. Good fit when it comes to him really distributing the ball and really doing those long range passes as a player. So we just can't wait to see who is obviously going to be in the stitches for the club of Man United as we tussle it out with a club called Fulham. Now let's go to the back three. The back three, on the right of the three-man central defense, I see Leny Yoro playing there. You understand? And he's really looking good, and he's utilizing the time of the absentia of Mazarawi to see to it that he really announces himself as one of those players that are really undroppable in the team of Manchester United. That's exactly what you're really having in there as a club of Manchester United. On the left of the three-man central defense, I think Luke Shaw will maintain his position in there because he really looked good against Arsenal. And I really went ahead to see was it Rio Ferdinand really giving him his flowers as a player and what he really went ahead into that so particular time. He really looked good, and if I'm the manager, I obviously have to bring him on and see to it that he really stays up onto the pitch. That he's a player known as Luke Shaw, and their partnership is really sinking in, and I just love to see them do that. At the center is Matthias de Ligt, undroppable, and I don't know why people really have opinions and they really hate what this guy really does. I've gone ahead to see several United fans coming out and really say, we don't need Matthias de Ligt, and I'm like, what lenses are they using to watch the game? The lad, ever since he came in through last season, he has gone ahead to look good and he has gone ahead to defend very well. And trust me, him and Lisandro Martinez are the standout, consistent defenders that we've gone ahead to have into that beautiful team of Manchester United. So I really get Matthias de Ligt into my team without further ado. That back four, I really anticipate that it can really get us a clean sheet at Fulham. I'm really optimistic about it. Now, we go to the right wing back. I really thought that Amadi Diallo will obviously be doing a lot of work into this team. But that game of Arsenal has gone ahead, obviously, send me a signal that the manager wants to be having more weapons off the bench, And he really brought on Ahmad from the bench, and he went ahead to disorganize that entire side of Arsenal. Every player of Arsenal who really fell in his way was roasted, cooked, and really put to where he deserves to be. And Amadi Diallo just sent a message to the manager that I need to be starting in every game. But I again insist, the manager might not obviously start him into this game of football too, as I think he'll obviously bring back Diego Dallo, as he knows the threat of Fulham. And Diego Dallo also really looked good against Arsenal. He really reached into some good areas. I saw him really putting in some cutback crosses, squares, and so on and so forth. But I know it will really lead to what we call a very huge show in there on the right. So how does this help us? You obviously have an option off the bench, because I know Dallo is really good going forward, but if you really have a good game plan, it's better you obviously start there Dallo and then get in Amadi Diallo later. But all in all, the manager might be like, Ahmad needs to start the game. He needs to start the game and see that we really go ahead to really beat Fulham in there for you. So we wait and see how that pans out, but I'm 100% sure that the manager is really having a lot of players, and his squad is really looking good. So it's up to him to let us know who will start and who won't really go ahead to start in his formation in there for you. I'm having Zato. Thank you for watching in through. It's nice always having you onto this beautiful channel of ours. Now, left wing back, there is a variety. Aiden Heaven, Patrick Dogu, the Colombian guy, Diego Leon, there is Harry Amaz, but I haven't gone ahead to say them travel with the club of Manchester United, in this particular aspect. So that means the left wing back will call in for the services of Patrick Dogo. A man who really had one of the best chances when you're playing against Arsenal, though the left lower bottom post went ahead to obviously stop him from obviously putting that ball into the back of the net. But I know he's really growing to this team, and you've gone ahead to see him really making some good inversions. He runs that entire line, he defends, and even he tries to average a shot at goal every other game we really play. Though I think he should be thinking of really laying in more crosses. If for every his ratio of crosses to goal, 2 crosses should be 4-1 or 3-1. Put in 3 crosses and 1 shot at goal. Every 3 crosses, you add the 4th as the shot, depending on the game situation, on what the game of Fulham will obviously be like. But I think Dogo starts onto the left, and I think that he'll obviously put in a very huge show and a very huge shift altogether. You understand? Now, let's get to the double pivot. This is where I've gone ahead to have huge concern with the manager, but he has proven to us that he's a man of his word, and I see him maintaining that double pivot he really brought when you're playing against Arsenal, with Casemiro into the midfield and a player known as Bruno Fernandes. So that double pivot, I think, is the ideal plan for the manager. You don't expect players like Cunha or Mbeumo to be dropped, and if you don't drop them, that means it's obviously gonna go out to affect Bruno Fernandes in those positions, meaning that the only position Bruno has to play is the double pivot. And for the manager of Manchester United, he has shown us that he believes Bruno can be played as a number 8 in that double pivot in there. And I tell you, if he really risked it all and played him in the double pivot against Arsenal at Old Trafford, yet we all know that Arsenal really has one of the best midfields in the world, do you think he won't do it when you're playing against Fulham away from home? I guarantee you that this manager will come and obviously do that. He will come and do that. No doubts, I tell you. He will come and do that, and he'll have Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes into his double pivot as he establishes his team, as he really calls in for another player to play into the double pivot after we never saw Baleba coming in through the club of Manchester United. Now, we get into the 2 number 10s into this system. All right. One of the number 10s will go by the names of Mbeumo and Probable. if you really saw what he did when Man United was really trying to tussle it out with Arsenal at the Emirates last Sunday, the lad is a gem. The lad, it has a lot on the ball, and the lad is really exceptional and really that super special. So, Mbeumo went ahead to obviously put in a very huge shift in there for the side of us, so the side of Man United, and it really gave us no problems into that game, you know. So I anticipate that he will be played on the right side of the central attacking midfield, and that's where he'll obviously feature. On the left attacking side of the central midfield, you know, or the center, or that half space, all right, I think it's gonna be Mason Mount. He really had a very beautiful game against Arsenal, and I think what you have to do is, if a player performs very well, keep rewarding him. Keep rewarding him and see to it that he doesn't really feel like he gave you a very good performance and you're gonna hate to drop him. So we have to keep getting him more games, and all he has to do is not get injured. Let him do justice to himself. He shouldn't get injured into the mix, I tell you. So that's all about a player known as Mason Mount, and I tell you what, he's one of those that we have to really look at several times and really understand what he really stands up for as a player. He's a press-resistant player, and he really creates chances, shoots at goal, and the manager likes him because of his energy and the distance he travels. All what has gone ahead to forsake him at Manchester United has been himself not being available every time he's really needed, because injuries have gone ahead to affect his career a lot at Manchester United, and looks like we threw money to an injury-prone player. That is it. Leading the line, this is where the question comes in through, you know. Should you obviously start Matthias Cunha? Should you start Matthias Cunha? That is the huge question. Should Matthias Cunha really start? My answer is yes. Should Benjamin Sesko start? I'll tell you what, I don't want to see him start, you know. I want us to obviously start Cunha in this game. And in the game of Greensbury, that's where I want to see United start a player known as Benjamin Sesko. And it's not far off, you know. Just next Wednesday, 3 days from now, it's not far off, you know. Let us see how he will look when he really starts in a Carabao Cup game against a much weaker side, where he'll obviously even grab himself the first goal for the club of Manchester United. So for this particular game against Fulham, I don't start him. Why? I don't want him to be really bullied and ridiculed, because football banters are everywhere. You know, they went ahead and obviously had to do the same when you're really playing against Arsenal, because they came off the bench, you understand? And for this particular reason here at the club of Manchester United, I would love to see Cunha play as that central attacking striker. But I think he'll do the role. He'll be doing the same role he did when he's playing against Arsenal. He was everywhere, but he really had more central operations, you know, than the rest. You saw most of his attempts at goal really came in through that center, and he really had to drop deep to see to it that he really does the needful. But this time round, I think when you're playing against Fulham, you don't need him to go that deep. You'll just have to request Mbeumo, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes to obviously get him that ball in time to see to it that he comes in through and really tussles it out with those particular players that we are really talking about. So that is my probable starting 11. I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but I think that it's the probable starting 11 that our manager, known as Ruben Amorim, will be looking at to obviously show or really represent as we are obviously taking against Fulham. And he can really put in a very huge shift to obviously stop the side of Fulham in there. Now, let's obviously get into the team of Fulham and how we expect them to obviously line up. For Fulham, Leno is expected to obviously be in goal, Tete right back, Bassi left back, Anderson and Kuyenka in the central defense, Sander Berge, Lucic, and under Emily Smith-Rowe, midfield 3, then Iwobi Munuz and Adama Traore leading the line for the side of Fulham. On paper, Fulham really has a pretty good team. That is it. They really have a pretty good team that we should all have, that we should all come here and really appreciate that they are really a good team. They are really a good force that we have to really look at and really give their flowers, because they've gone ahead to do the needful, and no one has not tested the wrath of the team of Fulham. It's really a very, very, very good team, you know, and that's why I tell you, United should go there and really try to execute exactly what they executed at Old Trafford when you're really playing against a team called Arsenal. This is where I need to see United showing me that they can put in consistent performances game in, game out, and after that, I'll be really very pleased to come out here and tell you that, all right, they've done what they did at Arsenal. We've gone ahead to put in a very big shift and really got in that result. But before that, I won't come here and really give them the flowers they really deserve, as that has gone ahead to annoy very many United fans. But for me, I've been here long enough to know what United is capable of doing. They have to first prove me wrong. That is it. They have to first prove me wrong. Now, one, let's talk about the head-to-head stats coming in through from Google, right? One, Fulham have won just one of their last 19 Premier League games against Man United. 3 draws, 15 losses, beating them 2-1 at Old Trafford in February 2024. Secondly, Manchester United have won each of their last 8 Premier League away games against Fulham. They've never won 9 in a row against an opponent in their league history. You understand? If we win, then a huge milestone will obviously come in through, and it will be really observed. Thirdly, Manchester United have won just 3 of their last 23 Premier League games, away games against Londoners, with 5 draws and 15 losses, though all 3 of these victories have come against Fulham. I told you that the London team that Man United has always gone ahead obviously get points from in London is Fulham. You understand? So that gives us another chance to go there and obviously act as we are supposed to act. Thirdly, the last 4 Premier League meetings between Fulham and Man United have seen a winning goal scored in the 70th minute or later, with all 6 goals in the games between the teams in the last 2 seasons coming in the second half. It was one of only 2 fixtures played 4 times across 2023, 2024, 2025 without a first goal, along with Everton versus West Ham. So the first goal has always gone ahead to delay when United is playing at Craven Cottage or playing against the side that I really love a lot in there. Lastly, Fulham ended 2024-2025 on a run of 3 consecutive home Premier League defeats, last losing more in a row when they lost their final 6 home games in 2020 and 2021. Manager Marco Silva has never previously lost 4 consecutive league games in his entire career. So you now know what is at stake as we get into this beautiful particular this system in there for you. That is Mbeumo starting 11. You've had the head-to-head stats, and here I come to really hear from your predictions. What are your predictions for this particular encounter? For me, 2-1 win for the club of Manchester United. That is it. But I really have friends who have gone ahead to obviously say United are really going to be beaten by Fulham. I don't know how they've gone ahead to come to that conclusion, but I think United are really going to be doing what we call a 2-1 win against Fulham at the Craven Cottage tomorrow or today, depending on where you are really watching us from. Rokan David is my name. Thank you guys for being part of this live broadcasting channel, and it really means a lot to us, and I know you people are really having fun wherever you are, and you've gone ahead to enjoy this preview. Ezato says, good morning, RD. I see United winning 4-0. Oh my God. that hasn't even gone ahead to cross my line. That scoreline hasn't even gone ahead to cross my line. You remember, United hasn't obviously gone ahead to score any goal in the Premier League, but we've gone ahead to concede one. Now, calling in for a team that hasn't gone ahead, obviously, live up to the expectation, I don't really buy that. I don't really buy that idea. I don't buy in it. And it's really one of those that the side of Manchester United is looking at, obviously, see ourselves score the first goal of the Premier League season. So, guys, thank you very much for watching through. Obviously, it has been nice having you in here. And allow me say good night and good morning. Return later to bring you the Bruno Fernandes story as a huge bid has gone ahead, obviously, be launched by the side of the Saudi Pro League. We out. Bye.